For being with him for so many years, it's amazing to see a kid from a man to a grown man.
As they were going to announce this fight initially, DV allegations dropped. Tank was arrested and it was once again put in doubt.
Before the fight was cancelled on Monday after a civil lawsuit filed by ex-girlfriend Courtney Rozelle accused Davis of battery and aggravated battery.
Calvin Ford breaks down in tears on Live after hearing about Gervonta Davis's arrest. He reflects on their long journey together, from the streets to championship glory, saying he watched Tank grow into a man. Ford's voice shakes as he admits the pain of seeing everything fall apart. The emotions overwhelm him as he realizes their once unstoppable path may now be reaching a heartbreaking end.
Crazy. That's why I said this, yo, you can't write this, man. You cannot write this. My experience being gone, and all the stuff that I went through, preparing me for where I'm at today. You know, and Tank is older. He had the lessons, getting his lessons of what he got to do to take us the rest of the way. And this is his biggest.
Gervonta Davis has been involved in multiple controversies throughout his career. Earlier this year, he faced accusations from the mother of his children, who claimed mistreatment, though the case was later dismissed. Shortly afterward, another woman filed a separate lawsuit against him, adding to the growing scrutiny surrounding the fighter. Even with the first case dropped, these back-to-back legal issues have affected his image and drawn widespread attention. Many observers note that personal problems often spill into the public eye, especially for high-profile athletes like Davis. Even exceptional success in the ring doesn't shield someone from criticism, media pressure, or legal trouble. Personal or legal incidents can quickly dominate headlines, shaping public opinion and influencing career opportunities. Fans, analysts, and the boxing industry often judge fighters not only by their performances, but also by their personal behavior, making every action subject to analysis. For Davis, this shows that accomplishments alone cannot protect an athlete from the consequences of public exposure, highlighting the difficulty of balancing personal and professional integrity.
Never happened. The Paul camps still thought Tank is a big enough name regardless of his previous result to go ahead with this bout. But just as they were going to announce this fight initially, DV allegations dropped. Tank was arrested and it was once again put in doubt. Then the charges were dropped. A week later, they announced the event. So that kind of brings us to today. This event hasn't been smooth sailing so far, and it was almost destined that there would end up being a few more bumps in the road before we actually saw the two facing off. And about as big of a bump as you could really get has now hit the promotion. A civil suit has been filed against Tank, in which his ex-girlfriend accuses him of aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. While it was also reported by ESPN that a report has been filed additionally with the Miami Gardens Police Department last Tuesday. However, as I'm recording this, there's yet to be any criminal charges. Now, these alleged incidents happened last month, which was after the announcement of the fight. You would think if you're Tank on the verge of the biggest payday he's ever gotten, he would be doing anything to stay out of trouble, yet he continues to find himself in negative situations again and again. But in saying all of this, everything at the moment is very much alleged, and I'm not really here to talk about the validity of these claims. What I am here to talk about though is the impact this might have on the boxing event in a couple weeks time. Now, Tank vs Paul, love or hate the idea of it, was definitely one of the most viewed fights of the year. Although there are rumors of there being poor ticket sales,
Roy Jones Jr. commented that Gervonta Davis has been dealing with problems for a long time, and the new lawsuit only adds to the weight on his shoulders. He noted that the timing of these issues, coming right as the fight with Jake Paul was being planned, has created an unusually stressful stretch for the young champion. According to Jones, many in the boxing world were aware of Davis's past troubles, so the situation isn't surprising, but it remains significant. He added that the cancellation of the fight has only deepened Davis's personal struggles, leaving him to face both public criticism and the disappointment of losing a major opportunity.
So what were your thoughts on that whole thing?
Man, I really don't want to even have much to say about that because everybody will take it the bad way. But all I'm going to say is this. Jake Paul knew what it was when he first signed the fight. This ain't the first time he had battery against a woman. You knew what it was when you first signed the fight. So don't get mad and cuss him out and talk bad about him now. You knew what it was when you signed up for it. Come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? Let's not do that. Nobody talk. I don't talk bad about him either, but don't do the dude like that. No, the dude having a hard time in his life right now. Don't just do him like that. You know what I mean? Because you knew exactly what he was when you signed him to fight the first time. All I gotta say.
Tank's team has kind of been bringing that, like, talking about just some of Jake's past, and more kind of said that Jake said he's actually afraid to fight Tank. I mean, do you think it leaned a little more on that side, and they're just selling it the other way?
I already know what it is. Like I said, I already know. I'll get into it, but we all know when young guys go through issues.
Jake Paul shared his perspective on the situation involving Gervonta Davis. According to Paul, Davis was completely sober and fully aware of his actions during the incident. He described the moment in a way that suggests there was no attempt to escape responsibility by claiming intoxication. Paul's account emphasizes his own interpretation of the events, portraying Davis as conscious and accountable, while also hinting at the pressures the fighter deals with behind the scenes. By speaking about this publicly, Paul appears to give fans and observers an inside look at Davis's state of mind. However, it's important to note that these claims are anecdotal and not legally verified. While Paul's remarks may add to speculation, they also highlight the intense scrutiny high-profile fighters like Davis face, where every decision can be examined and widely discussed. Ultimately, his comments underline the ongoing tension between personal struggles and public perception in professional boxing.
Was on Aiden Ross, and he shared a story about Jake Paul, about Gervonta, and he said, look, Aiden, it was 4:15 in the morning. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. Gervonta Davis was sober. He got sober into a car and drove out there at that hour to do this. This guy is extra bad. Let me repeat that. Let me repeat that. Jake Paul said that Gervonta Davis left his house sober and went to Tootsie's nightclub sober. I just want you to put your common sense hat on. How in the world would he know that? Does Jake Paul talk to Gervonta Davis? Did Gervonta Davis tell Jake Paul I was sober when I left the house? Did Jake Paul have a camera in Gervonta Davis's car? Did he have a breathalyzer in Gervonta Davis's car? Did Jake Paul get toxicology reports from 3 days ago from Gervonta Davis? I am just curious as to how in the world Jake could possibly know that Gervonta Davis was sober. Let me tell you for sure, I will have a drink now and then. If I take a couple shots of vodka and I walk out the house, I am a little buzzed. Sometimes my wife doesn't even know. How do you know, Jake? The answer is you do not. You are just trying to add something to the story to make Gervonta look worse. It wasn't enough that Gervonta Davis...
Coach Kenny offered a detailed perspective on Gervonta Davis's career, pointing out the inevitable challenges that come with reaching the top of professional boxing. He explained that every elite fighter faces immense pressure, scrutiny, and obstacles both inside and outside the ring. According to Kenny, these struggles are not signs of failure but natural parts of the journey for athletes competing at the highest level. He emphasized that even when setbacks occur, whether legal issues or public controversies, they do not erase the countless hours of training, discipline, and dedication Davis has put in over the years. Kenny's insight highlights that the path to peak performance is rarely smooth. It is shaped by triumphs as well as difficulties. He reminded fans that adversity often serves as a test of character, demanding resilience and focus to push through. While these challenges may temporarily affect a fighter's momentum or public image, they cannot take away the skill and effort that built an athlete's success. In Davis's case, Kenny's reflections suggest that perseverance, hard work, and determination remain central to his journey, regardless of the obstacles he currently faces.
When you're in it, right?
I think fighters are always love the sport itself. It's the bullshit that comes with it behind the scenes, dishonesty and shit like that. That should get on my nerve.
Yeah.
Not saying that's what Tank's situation is, just the sport period. I'm speaking on the sport, man. If people would be honest and jokers really take fights like they said they would, but behind the scene they not taking a fight, but on on social media they gonna take the fight. It's a bunch of bullshit, man. You know.
Mm-hmm.
That's the shit that I don't like about the sport. And the promoters need to come together, man, and let the guys fight. Problem is, you need a fighter to carry each promotional company. The promotional company don't want to put their man in there with no real fighters because their company gonna flop. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they won't let. That's why the big fights ain't happening. Fighters can take a loss and still keep on taking. All this new generation shit is crazy. I've seen guys with 10 losses.
Following the legal complications, Jake Paul officially cancelled the exhibition match against Davis. In Paul's letter, he stated that Davis seemed disinterested in the fight, showing signs of frustration and a lack of focus. Paul claimed these behaviors included noticeable tantrums and limited involvement in the preparation process. The cancellation underscored how the lawsuit affected Davis's professional commitments, showing that personal issues can directly influence major career opportunities. Observers note that this situation highlights the fragile balance athletes must maintain between their personal lives and professional duties, as distractions can quickly result in missed chances in high-profile events.
You know, I don't know if it's true what they said. I just know that they were saying he was showing up late to promo shoots and he was, you know, just being a diva, just being a difficult person to work with. And the thing I always tell anybody, and I don't care what age you are, whenever you're working with somebody, when you're on a set, you know, when you're in a corporation, whatever it is, the thing that will keep money in your pocket and always keep you working is when those individuals say that person is a pleasure to work with. When they say you're a pleasure to work with, I promise you, you will always get phone calls. That's why I walk in the room. It's just my nature anyway, because, you know, just the way my anxiety's set up, I need to know who's who. So I speak to everybody. I look in everybody's eyes. I'm really observing to make sure I don't see anything bulging in any places where there might be pistols or anything else. But I'm saying hi to everyone. I speak to everybody in the room. I speak to everybody when I leave. I'm polite because I used to sell crack and work at Taco Bell, and I understand how much of a blessing it is to be in these positions. There's no way that I'm going to be, you know, getting tens of millions of dollars like Gervonta Davis is and be acting like a diva. And I'm not saying he was. I'm just saying if the rumors are true. You know what I mean? If the rumors are true, because that's what I was told. And you know, I heard they were just looking for a reason to part ways. So,
I mean, that's a good reason. I think he has a good point too. It's just like, you know, he built his platform a lot, or Jake, on female fighters.
Absolutely.
So maybe he should support Gervonta because he supports the beating of women.
Yeah, but not by other genders.
I got it.
And also, too, maybe Tank isn't used to
Nobody has paid people more money.
Former boxer Pauli Malignaggi criticized Jake Paul's stance, arguing that the controversies surrounding Davis were already well known within the boxing community. Malignaggi suggested that Paul reacted as if these issues had just come to light, when in reality, Davis's past behavior had been public for years. He pointed to several incidents and video evidence that showed questionable actions, noting that fans and industry professionals were long aware of them. His criticism highlights the idea that Davis's reputation has developed over time and that anyone entering negotiations or working with him should have expected potential complications.
It's like damn if you do, damn if you don't. He had already had this history. He's trying to be better. And this is something that had already happened in the past, right? I mean, this was already known when they signed.
Yeah, he wasn't arrested.
He did this prior to this being signed, so you already knew this happened. It was regurgitated as a civil suit, but it was already something that everybody knew had happened in the past. So it's not like something new happened after he signed the fight. So that's what I don't understand, and that's why I don't want to see that. You know, I don't want to see that the kids still lose out on it that way for that reason. Because I don't know, to me it doesn't add up. You know, it already happened, you knew it happened, then you made the fight anyway. So now, based on something you already knew happened, now you're just saying, oh no, because this happened, we're not going to do the fight. But you knew already in the first place.
Yeah, the history was already there.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And for this particular situation, by the way, mind you, the girl now is coming with a civil suit.
Yes.
She probably saw that he signed the Jake Paul fight and, you know, the Jake Paul exhibition. Now he's going to make more money. You know, let's sue him. You Momo, you should have let him get the payday first if that was what you were after, at least in the first place. Because, yeah, he's made money in the past, but he's not going to get that payday now. Obviously, the reason you set those there's obviously a reason why the civil suit comes now of all times. His name's in the headlines for the Jake Paul fight. So this Momo thinks that the money's already in the bank. It's not in the bank until you do the show, and now the show's off. So if that's what you were after, You cut your own possible winnings and fractionalize them.
Right, and what we're looking at now is it looks like Netflix has moved on. They want a different opponent. The problem is, Paulie, and we have a list, of course, Boxing Scene today, Lance Pugmire doing a list of possible replacements. Paulie, before we get into the actual names, what kind of person would take this fight? They're saying it would be delayed maybe to December, but this idea that are you already in shape? Is it a fighter who's not in shape right now? Is it someone getting ready for a fight? Well, but you want him beatable, but not gonna embarrass Jake Paul.
But sellable enough, marketable enough. Listen, Jake is very good at. I always say Jake doesn't set up fights, but he stacks the deck. There's a difference. You can't blame Jake for. Personally, me. And everybody thinks this fight is set up. I've never thought they were set up. The way I read the situation is the deck is stacked enough where Jake hedges himself and he's able to win. This is an exhibition, so you don't have to do that. I mean, granted, maybe the replacement becomes a real fight. I don't know. That's something to consider. Maybe this becomes more interesting if it's a real fight. If it's a guy he gets and it's a real fight.
With the fight now cancelled, attention has shifted toward possible replacements. Speculation has already begun that Jake Paul may choose a new opponent, with names like KSI being mentioned as potential alternatives. The search for fresh matchups shows how quickly plans can change in combat sports when personal or legal issues arise. Fans are closely following these updates, as replacing Davis not only reshapes the event's direction but also raises concerns about the long-term impact on his career. The situation demonstrates how one athlete's struggles can affect the entire landscape, influencing schedules, promotions, and overall public interest.
This on November 14th in an exhibition bout at the Kaseya Center in Miami before the fight was canceled on Monday after a civil lawsuit filed by ex-girlfriend Courtney Rozelle accused Davis of battery and aggravated battery, among other things. Had the fight happened, Davis would have been the 7th person on Paul's list of 12 desired opponents, a list that also included Conor McGregor, KSI, Canelo Alvarez, Kamaru Usman, and Paul's older brother Logan. I forgot that Usman was on the fucking list, dude. I forgot that he was like, yeah, let me get a piece of Kamaru Usman in boxing. Oh, okay. To date, he has fought Anisan Gibb, Robinson, Askren, Tyron Woodley twice, Nate Diaz, and Tommy Fury from the list. Paul has also had victories over former UFC fighters Anderson Silva, Mike Perry, and boxers like Andre August, Ryan Borland, Mike Tyson, and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. With the Davis fight off, most of the names on the list crossed off, it's time for a new set of goals for Paul. So here's the new hit list. Oh God, I see number one. One that Paul said.
During the Ariel Helwani show, commentators analyzed the significant effect of Davis's latest lawsuit on his public image. Analysts pointed out that this new legal issue came just 2 months after a previous case, indicating a pattern of ongoing personal difficulties. The panel discussed how repeated incidents can cause lasting damage, affecting both professional standing and personal relationships. They emphasized that such situations contribute to a perception of instability, underscoring that elite athletes must carefully manage their behavior both inside and outside the ring. The discussion concluded that repeated controversies can disrupt career momentum and tarnish a fighter's hard-earned reputation.
Aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Lawsuit comes 2 months after Davis's previous domestic violence case was dropped by a different ex-girlfriend and the mother of 2 of the boxer's 3 children. I just think MVP is in the business of being the home of women, right? At this point, like, that's a huge part of their identity. What is their identity? It's Jake Paul and women's boxing. That's their identity right now. And they've done a phenomenal job for the women. And so how, with these allegations lingering and now coming to light 2 weeks before, how can you go through with it? And it sounds like they feel the same way.